Hey guys, Cyber. Relax, I was just gonna get there. Anyway, as this little buddy was saying, 80% of you aren't subscribed to the channel, so hit that subscribe button. It really helps. Hey, what Pokemon are you?
All right, let's talk about the top 5 restricted duos that I could see doing really well at this upcoming World Championship. So the first one should be no surprise, Zacian Kyogre. Really good synergy, of course, and there are so many different ways you can run it. It's very flexible. We've seen the screen variants do really well with like Grimmsnarl. We've seen the Tailwind hyper offensive stuff like Whimsicott. Tornadus do extremely well. And I think there's definitely more modes you could definitely run with the team, and definitely a lot of viable partners. I think this duo has the most amount of viable partners you could run on this team. I just to list a few of them. All the electric types like Regieleki, Thundurus, Zapdos, for instance. All the grass types really with like Amoonguss, Venusaur, Cortana, Whimsicott. Incineroar is really strong on this team. Pokemon like Celesteela, Grimmsnarl, just to name a few. I wouldn't be surprised to see. I think this is going to be the most common restricted duo at the World Championship. It's really strong. Kyogre does so much damage, as well as Zacian. A Calyx Ice Rider plus Palkia is my second restricted duo that I think is really strong going into this World Championship. Overall, the duo is really good at consistently getting Trick Room up. It's strong against many of the top teams overall. For instance, Zacian Kyogre teams don't really like facing against Calyx Ice Rider Palkia. Some Sun teams really struggle switching into Calyx Ice under Trick Room, and overall it's just really hard to break through the Palkia, which is usually always almost able to set up Trick Room. So I think that this duo is really great, and it's been consistent throughout most of the format, although it's had some downsides here and there where it just hasn't placed well. But I think at this World Championship we could definitely see some skilled players and have some cool techs to be able to bring out the potential of Calyx Ice Palkia and really dominate the tournament. So Lunala, Groudon, both of these Pokemon can take a hit. They are pretty flexible, mainly just because of the great speed control options. You usually see like Grimmsnarl on the team. You have the Airstream, for instance, with Charizard and the Thundurus that both can really abuse. And then you have like Venusaur with Chlorophyll, of course, as well as Trick Room from the Lunala. Many different ways you could really just go about your battles and really approach them with the different speed control options. And I think that's the main reason why it's super flexible. Lunala, I think with Meteor Beam helps really threaten, for instance, Incineroar, as well as Pokemon that want to switch into Precipice Blades. Meteor Beam just really threatens that. So I think that's what's really scary about this duo overall. The fourth restricted duo that I think could do really well is Calyx Ice and Kyogre. It's a little bit of a pair that we actually don't really see do well at tournaments, but a pretty consistent team on ladder usually. I think it's very underexplored is the main reason why. The only ones we've really seen are the hard Trick Room teams with like NDD getting a Trick Room Calyx Ice with Kyogre, or sometimes Incineroar, and then a few other things. Those are the main ones we've seen, but I think there's so much more potential to this duo, mainly because Calyx Ice Trick Room, of course, just really strong against a lot of teams. I think Calyx Ice is one of the best Pokemon going to Worlds just because of like how much damage it does. I think this Pokemon's absolutely insane. Will we see a breakthrough? Maybe, but I would not be surprised to see like a Calyx Ice Kyogre do really well at this upcoming World Championship and break out for the duo, because I think this duo has been very underexplored since the beginning of the format. The last restricted duo that I really want to talk about is one that we haven't really seen at tournament because it kind of popped up after NAIC, which has been the Eternatus Yveltal, a very oddball restricted duo. But I think overall this duo has a lot of potential, mainly because I feel like it's a really odd duo that many players actually probably don't even know the matchup and only know probably like one team. And I don't know if there's more than one team realistically, but I think this duo has a lot to offer, because I think Eternatus with Life Orb does so much damage, usually accompanied by Helping Hand Blastoise. Dynamax Cannon can just knock out so many Pokemon, and it can be really scary. It has multiple fake out users on the team usually, and Eternatus can just dish out so much damage with the Dynamax Cannon with Life Orb especially, and Helping Hand just nukes again. Yveltal, of course, really solid to help cover Eternatus weaknesses. It's actually surprisingly strong against like Calyx Ice Palkia. Could definitely be a matchup where this team might be favored. One thing about this duo that of course is weak is that these two restrictions are of course weak to Calyx Ice and Zacian, which are some of the most common restricted Pokemon in the format. I think this duo is just like so obscure, no one really knows too much about it. They only know about the one team, and I could see it break through, and especially with Eternatus, how strong it did at Japan Nationals. I think if there's like any duo that could really do well with Eternatus at this World Championship, I wouldn't be surprised to see if this is the one that breaks through the tournament.